Sitting in the studio with me and Rob, we are joined by Tony Belmont. Now, Rob and I had the privilege and the pleasure to visit your museum. First of all, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And also, we had the privilege of visiting the museum and doing a little tour for free. However, it's only $6.50 to get in there,
well,
so
and they
it's a
don't
bargain at top notch.
And they don't have the president giving them the personal
That's right.
tour either,
No,
so
they
we're
don't.
even lucky.
So this was pretty cool.
Just that you both know the bill is in the mail, though.
Oh, they got that. Well, just expense that one.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us
Yes.
how you got into into comedy and why you have the National Comedy Hall of Fame and why it's as big as it is. And
Well, I've been in the entertainment business all my life. Started when I was about 6. But rock and roll concerts is what I've done. I've done about 15,000 concerts, and that led me to
that's ridiculous, by the way. That number is ridiculous.
Actually, it's 15,112, but I didn't want to sound silly.
Too like I've been keeping track.
Like
I know, right.
I wanted to make it sound like it just came off the top of my head.
Yeah,
But we had comedians that would open up the shows. So I became very close with many of the comedians over the years. Back around the late 80s, Maury Amsterdam was sitting down with me at the Friars Club and says, there's no museum for comedy history in the United States. And I thought, well, there's got to be one somewhere, maybe in Hoboken, New Jersey,
Whatever,
or something,
but it's
some
hidden
out of the way
somewhere.
place.
Yeah,
it's
it's
gotta
hidden
be.
somewhere.
I couldn't find one anywhere, and we did research, and we went on to have the Comedy Hall of Fame. We called the Trademark Commission and trademarked and ran letters and found out we were the only one. And he was right. He said, you need to preserve these old acts like Dan Rice and some of these old guys that nobody's ever heard about anymore. Their routines and their bits are going to be forgotten. So the Comedy Hall of Fame decided that it had to become the official comedy museum for history, and that's what we did. It has all the bits and culture and comedy of the past.
What I found most interesting is that it's an enormous wealth of knowledge. I mean, you can go there and learn from all the way back, making it, I guess, a Hall of Fame is great, but it really is very museum-ish in the sense that it educates you.
edutainment is what I think you said, right?
That's the word, yes. I created a word called edutainment. It's education, and it's also entertainment, because we found that as people are having fun, they learn better as well. Yeah. And we've had some fun, especially with some of the teenagers that have come through.
I bet.
Tell us about when we were there. You were saying comedy is really big in Boston and so forth. Tell us why you chose to have this museum here in the Bay Area.
Well, Boston was one of the favorite towns because it's where comedy began in 1787. But we wanted to stay in Tampa Bay because one reason was we felt that it's needed. We need more museums down here. We need more attractions, especially out on the beach. And the other reason was we had loyal people over the years that had volunteered and worked for us, and we wanted to keep it in the area where they could go. Otherwise, if we moved to Boston or Philly, they'd have to stay here, and we just didn't feel that was fair. And so we decided, off we went to Madeira Beach, to Johns Pass Village, and it's been fun.
It's a great video that we're watching right now. Wonderful.
If you, all the stuff that you have in there, probably a lot of it donated, or maybe purchased, maybe whatever, through your years of and your organization, collecting it and that kind of stuff. That they don't. It's not free to be there, and it's like the tourism coming through the turnstiles. Is that paying it, or are you funded? I mean, is this a nonprofit?
We don't know.
I mean,
it's not for profit, and people can donate. They can become members. $25, $50, $100 becomes a member to support the museum. Just like most museums need some sort of support. We're not getting it actually from the local officials, the county or the state, or even tourist development. So like many museums, it's the people themselves that want to have this, want to have a museum. They want to have this culture, and they're helping support it. Then comes the comedians themselves, and I'm going to New York to the Friars Club, and I'll be meeting with many of the comedians and explaining what we need and what this is all about. And we feel that they're going to come to the party and help support the museum as well.
You got any, that's all the business stuff out of the way. Let's talk about the fun stuff, because you got a great a little shop in the front of there that sells all the goofy gimmick stuff that the snapping gum and the game cards and the hot gum and the card tricks and all that kind of stuff. So you take me as like a guy that likes to just joke around, kid around, have a good time, being a Comedy Hall of Fame owner, the president of it and everything. Tell us some of the funny stories. You got a funny story, something like that, from somebody that you met, or how you got a piece of the wonderful treasure that's hanging on the wall in there or something? Is there something?
Well, we got Dwayne Hickman was a wonderful guy. He played Dobie Gillis. and he donated a lot of the artifacts you saw in the Dobie Gillis thing,
Right.
and he had the big statue. Did you see the big statue, the
Yes.
thinker? Well, in the Dobie Gillis show, him and Maynard G. Krebs, who later became Gilligan's
Right.
Island,
Oh, no kidding.
and they would sit on the bench and talk about the girls at the school, and they'd sit in front of the statue. Well, he donated the statue. It arrived in a great big wooden crate, and at the time we put it in my garage. And it sat there for a couple of years waiting for this. So when we went to the museum, we called a forklift, and we had 6 guys hired, everybody coming. They lifted this thing up, they put it in the trunk. And when we finally got it to the place and they broke apart this crate, the statue itself is made out of styrofoam. You can pick it up with one hand and just walk with it. And up to that point, we're using cranes.
You had no idea?
I
Cranes
love it.
and
Now that's
forklifts,
funny.
6 strong men, and everybody's, watch my foot, don't drop
Watch my
it.
foot carrying the wood crate with the styrofoam
real
thing
thing.
in there. That's
Tell us-
wonderful.
Tell us some of the long-term plans that you have at the
Yes.
museum. I mean, back to the business level, because you have more, bigger, grandiose plans to happen with go ahead and
I
fill
do.
us in.
You have to start a museum at one stage, and we
Ground
did.
level, right.
I think most of the people that come through find it absolutely fascinating. We've got a lot of local people coming in that think it's one of the finest museums they've seen. It's very high tech, unlike other museums, because you saw the little visuals, the
Right.
little pieces coming to videos, coming to life and stuff. The museum is the first stage. We have the library. We have the finest comedy library in the United States. Most of the magazines check with us about their facts. We'd like to make that library free for the community, but we want the city to give us a place to put it. So we're waiting on a response from the elected officials on that matter. Second is a comedy club called the Belly Laugh Deli, which is what we consider a comedy club into the future. And the third one's
You grab a Reuben and a comedy show?
you have a sandwich, you have bloopers in a little television set on your table. There's a great big a screen up on the stage, and one comedian acts as an MC, and the audience becomes the comedians. We take the audience up on the stage, and we have
Oh, how
prepared
fun.
comedy. It's fun-mercials.
Right.
It's karaoke for people that can't sing.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Love it.
Give us some contact information,
Yeah,
a
and
website,
where
how
you're
people
at?
can get more information from you.
Well, they can call 398-5187. That's area code 727. That's the museum itself. And they go from there, or they can get on the website at comedyhall@aol.com.
Excellent.
Yeah, and if they call at least 5 times,
Now, do you
and
have
bring-
a website set up for you yet? I'm sorry. Because the email was comedyhall@AOL. Do you have a website set up?
We have a website, but right now we're looking for maybe a college student or somebody that's very an expert in that field to upgrade the website, because
okay.
as a not-for-profit, money is
it's
something you
tough.
take a careful look at, and anybody that donates time gets tax write-off. So we're trying to upgrade that portion right now.
Give a shout out of what people are listening of what you need quickly. I mean, what are you looking for? What can people help you do?
Money. Lots of money. Green. It's called a silent collection. In the old Catholic churches, they used to pass around the basket, and the priest would say, "I want a silent collection." It meant no coins. And that's what we're looking for, a silent collection for the
funny.
museum.
And you can always email Tony, or you can get a hold of one of us at Tampa Digital Studios.
And we'll get you a hold of him as well if you want to donate your time or do anything to help. And, go down and
Volunteers.
visit it. So it's a $6.
Yeah.
It's well worth
And
the
you know what I'll
price.
tell you? You could probably hang out there for at least an hour.
Yeah.
Hour and
Not
a
more than
half.
that.
After
I'll
you
even
watch some of the
share my
videos.
lunch, and we'll give them a discount on the whoopee cushion, everything.
That'll be perfect. Love it.